Hello, welcome to another episode of Motoring Middle East. Today I'm checking out the new Ford Expedition, all new for 2018, and it is really all new on the same all aluminium intensive architecture as the new F-150. Under the hood, 3.5 litre twin turbo V6 EcoBoost, so no more V8, but the old engine, to be honest, was a bit terrible and a bit out of date, so that's long gone. Plus it makes more power, 400 horsepower, and a chunk more torque, 480 foot-pounds of torque. Price is started about 204,000 dirhams. This one back here is the Platinum, so that's 293,000 dirhams. It's a not cheap car. Putting it mildly, it's not cheap. But on the plus side, you get a lot of gadgets and toys. This thing is unbelievably well equipped for the money, and it's meant to take the fight to the likes of the Patrol and the Land Cruiser and so on. And this might just do it, because to be honest, the old car, man, it was not great. So this new one, frankly, has thrown the old one completely away. They start from scratch, and this is what we've got here. So let's take a quick tour. So what do we think of the design of the new Expedition? Well, I think it's quite a handsome car. The old one really was starting to get a bit old and dated with its boxiness, but they've done a really nice job here. They've added lots and lots of chrome, maybe a little too much chrome, but it is quite an aggressive, toothy maw, a bit like a shark that's out to get you. Obviously, the nice stuff is all at the front, because as you start going back, it starts getting a bit blander again, blander, and now we reach maximum blandness at the rear. But this is not necessarily a bad thing with those Explorer style taillights, because I think it gets across the fact that this is a working man's box. This is the answer to the Tahoe, the Suburban, and the Durango. I always forget the Durango is even still on sale. So it is a large, capacious car with lots and lots of space for people and their things. And actually there are two versions that we get. Is the normal and the extended version. I think this is the normal version. I hope it is. It doesn't fit into my bloody car space right now. Quite good looking. 22-inch wheels. So that means it basically won't do anything on the sand. Hankook tires if you're curious. But they are quite smart. I think 20s are more than enough. But here's the funny part. The ride isn't that bad on 22s. Crazy, huh? Alright, let's see what the boot is like. Oh, fun feature. Let me see if I can do this. You can actually open the tailgate, just like a Toyota 4Runner. Remember those things? But it's all manual. Hopefully I've closed it. And now we get the boot. Power boot, of course. Now, this is an absolutely gigantic space. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Enormous, huge. You got at least 7 to 8 bodies in there. Sorry, I mean luggage. And everything is powered. When I say everything, I mean everything. Hold on, I'm going to try to use these very control. By the way, Ford, what do these things mean? What do they mean? I mean, look at it. 3L, 2L, I know that means 3-row. That means which one is fold? Which one is open? It's pointless. Oh, by the way, there are USBs in the back if you're looking here. There's a USB here, and there's a USB here. There's also switches that move the front door, the middle row of seats. Let's see if I can figure this out. Right, so I'm pressing these two. Let's see what happens. Okay, that one's working. But why is nothing happening on this side? Let's try this one. Oh, I got it. These are, of course, power folding as well. And now we'll have a quick look and see what they are like inside. But yeah, if you have those seats up, the last third row, you lose out a lot of luggage space, but you still get a decent suitcase in here. And by decent, I mean travel bag, because this is the Ford safety gubbins, and that's really taking up pretty much all the space here. Underneath, of course, is all your spare wheel and all of that. Let's see what that third row is like when you're on the inside. Let's see if I can actually fit in, shall we? Here I am in the third row of an Expedition, and you know what? I'm actually pretty comfortable. I've got a button here that can move me forward or back, give me a bit more space. I don't have a fold down armrest, so otherwise I've got adequate headroom. I'm 5'11". I've got plenty of leg room. I think anybody who's 6 foot might have a little bit more struggle, but I'm surprisingly okay. It's a bit plasticky back here, so it is a bit hot and warm, and I do feel like I am the last egg in the egg box. But I could travel distances in this, and I've got a decent armrest here, and cup holders, and as I mentioned before, a USB. There's even a coat hanger here, and there's AC vents and a light switch. But the full length sunroof does not come this way. That's the third row taken care of. Best third row ever. Okay, magically I'm here in the middle row seat, and boy oh boy, This one's even better. I mean, this is basically a limo length level space here. I can just recline and slouch as much as I want. The seats are pretty comfortable. They're average leather ones. I don't think they're perforated, although they have got perforated leather underneath me. Usual sort of good armrest. There's some nice stitching here. Really like it. Quite fancy. But the full length sunroof, which I've closed because I don't like sunroofs. If you wonder, by the way, why I'm talking so quickly, it's because it's really hot and I feel like I'm about to die. It's 42 degrees. So what have I got? I'm going to get through this as fast as possible. A nice system here that basically allows you to play all your whatever children watch in the back. I imagine it's a lot of Paw Patrol. Mirror, you can actually mirror it to the front. I'm not actually sure how to work it. Still, it works. I'm sure it works. Good deep pockets down here. A nice central seat which doesn't seem to fold down. I haven't worked out how to do it yet. So there's no armrest down here. Not quite sure why Ford has some sort of fatwa against armrests. Very odd. You've got charging points here. So more USBs. Very clever. I mean, well done, man. What we want is USBs. 150 watt charging point. So basically you can plug in your laptop. And it's a normal socket. None of this American nonsense. Just plug in a normal British plug. Off you go. AC back here. Full AC controls. And media and volume controls. And there's even two big gulp sized cup holders. I've also got vents down here. A little light down here, LED. They've thought of everything. I actually can't complain. This is a nice place to be. If I was traveling from Dubai to Jeddah, this is the car I would take. I wouldn't fly a plane because a plane has shittier accommodation than this. No matter if you get premium economy or not, this is way better than any plane, any airline, unless you go business. And even then in the business, sometimes you don't get so much legroom. All right, let's see what the driver seat. So let's take a little look at the interior, shall we? Well, it's pretty much your stock standard F-150. If the underpinnings are F-150, the interior obviously must be as well. And this is an F-150 dashboard for all intents and purposes, with a couple of Expedition-specific touches. So what we lose is the little cutout in the side where your arm would go. You'll see that in the F-150 video, which hopefully I'll be able to link to. But otherwise, visibility is excellent. The glass house is massive. You can see in every direction. These seats are great, very comfortable. See if I can find a picture of them. They are so adjustable. They got massage and all of that. Very, very easy to get used to. F-150 style steering wheel. So what have we got here? One thing I don't like is that the volume controls are on this side when they really should be on this side. Here is your 4-way jog meter to control all of your computer features, of which there are a lot. I can go through them in detail, but you'll all be bored to tears. But they give you a lot of very useful information for towing, etc. and all that. You can configure them. Are they nicer than what GM does? Yes, I think the GM system is starting to get a bit old, whereas this one feels very fresh and very modern. And I love these instruments, so crisp, so clear, big bright blue needles. There are too many buttons though. I mean, I wouldn't bore you with counting them, but this is all stuff that I never use, which is voice control. This is mute and the telephone pickup buttons and cancel, which should be really up here somewhere. The 4-way jog is kind of relatively intuitive, but this stuff for the cruise control and the radar cruise control, oh boy. I have no idea which one I'm pressing because there's no real reason to tell them apart. So this is the one used most often, which is switch it on every single time and then you have to set it. I'm not a fan of that. I would prefer that it remembers if the cruise control was on last time. But hopefully you can hear me. I'm just going to turn the AC down, which gives me a chance to go to the AC section. So this is HVAC. Oh, by the way, I should probably point down here. This is the bin for all your stuff. You can take a case for your sunglasses, your wallet, and another nice wood grain finish here. This is the, of course, transmission selector. Not a big fan, honestly. Not a huge fan. I think the transmission selector should be a big manly gear shift, sorry women. And this one, just as it is in the Ram 1500, I don't love it really. So it is a little bit finicky to use. It doesn't give you a sort of positive engagement, and it does also leave you wondering which gear you're in. By the way, these are actually manually controlled, the gear shifts. So there's no paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. They're down here. That's what they are. What have we got here? 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, rear diff lock. Who the hell uses a diff lock in Expedition? And 4-low. So this is fully equipped if you ever, for some bizarre reason, have to take it off-road. And drive mode for sport, mud, sand, all of that. All your basic terrain response stuff. This is parking steering, I think. No, this is actually... This decides how to do the parking, automatic parking, which I have been struggling to get this thing to work with actually. I haven't really managed to do it yet. Parking sensors on and off. So here is the climate control system. Oh, by the way, down there, 2 USBs, very useful, and a charging point, a QI charging point, which is really difficult to put your phone in there and get it out of. You could, of course, cover all this up if you don't like it. AC system is pretty decent. Ford have come a really long way. Impressed with them. If I leave it at 23 degrees, it actually does a decent job at 22 degrees. You can have 3 levels of settings for blower. So high is very, very loud. I don't recommend it. I keep it on low or medium. It's fine. AC is come a long way, these Fords. And of course you have heated, ventilated seats, etc., which work quite well. So let's have a quick talk about the new Sync system, which of course is the most modern up-to-date Sync 3 version. Now, Sync in its earlier days, actually everything before this, was terrible. Let's be honest, it was terrible. It was slow, unintuitive, and blessed with lots of Microsoft baloney that nobody cared about. But now, it behaves just like Uconnect. It's really fast. It's very easy. It's lovely animations. And the reason for that is using the same exact underpinnings, QNX, which is the same underpinnings of Uconnect. So now Sync and Uconnect have the same code base. All that means is that this thing behaves very much like a computer. Little laggier, not the fastest thing in the world, but it's decent. And all, of course, usual apps and so on. I wish it was a little less like Uconnect, had its own personality. But let's be honest, everybody's going to go this way now. Main interface, top line for controlling all of your infotainment for like temperature and so on, and controls at the bottom. So everybody's going to go that way. Passenger side, what does the passenger have to look at? Nothing. Big glove box, a fairly capacious passenger seat. Frankly, all that's left to do is take it on the road. Okay, so we're about to take it for a quick little drive to show you what it's all about. And keep in mind, this is a car that's really about carting people and luggage. It's not a sports car. So that's why the old one was able to get away with so few changes for so long, because Ford honestly was being cynical and didn't care. They were selling tons of them until the Chevys, etc. caught up. They were selling tons of them. And because they were very good, strong cars for carrying very fat people. Americans. They were Americans. But now, all change. 400 horsepower. Great view. I want to point out again, these seats, mega comfortable. This dashboard display, I really like it. Very simple, very traditional. But that's Ford for a nutshell for you. Very simple, very traditional. Really like the way they've done everything. All just makes sense. None of the silliness that blights other car makers, none of this flights of fancy just works. One thing I don't like, actually there are a couple of things, and I'll get them out of the way when I start driving. But this gear stick, man. This puck thing. Give me a gear stick. I'm mentioning it twice because I didn't like it the first time. So let's see how she does. Good noise! 6,000 RPM. That's 80. That's 100. This thing hauls the mail. And the fuel economy isn't even that bad. 12.5 liters per 100, that's what I've been getting. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure my conversion will tell me. Oh, whoops. We've come to a sand dune already. Would you believe it? Well, this thing can off-road. I mean, it's proper deep sand, eh? I put it into 4-wheel automatic. Off we go. I'm happy. Because there are some cars that I've driven recently where I'm not sure they could even do this. Oh, there's even more dunes. Oh, well, what will we do? 22-inch wheels. And it's really doing it. Or there's a bigger dune now. Let's see. Effortless. So, a couple of quick points. Get back on the highway. 10-speed auto. Didn't like it in the Raptor. Haven't liked it in a lot of cars. But they've done a great job. This 10-speed now finally feels the equal of the mighty ZF 8-speed. Okay, maybe not the equal, but certainly a car that will be in the same breath. It picks up nicely. It locks up the torque converter very often. Oop, still more sand dunes. I'm going to have to like improvise here. Why have I ended up down here? Alright, here we go. If I'll get stuck on camera, that would be very bad. Yeah, the ZF 8-speed is great at just poodling around town, and then suddenly you give it the beans and you have the juice. Same with this car. It's really, really nice. It matches the torque very well. It's just a pleasure to drive. So finally Ford gets it right. Took them a while. Okay. What about the rest of the car? Handling wise, well, it actually handles reasonably well. I can't say it's like the nimblest car in the world, but on a corner, there's not too much body roll. 22-inch wheels will do that for you, but it's not that bad. Handles pretty well. Brakes are a bit not great. I think this car with 10,000 kilometers on the clock is a bit spongy. It's been through a lot, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here, but I do think the brakes are not superb. Road noise also surprisingly loud, actually. There's a lot more road noise that I would permit, because it's 22-inch wheels maybe, who knows. And the sunroof is a little squeaky. Other than that, I have almost nothing to complain about with this car, which is unusual because I like to complain about a lot of things. I'm a bit I'm that kind of person, and I'm really not finding too much to complain about. Other things that I like about it, the massage cooling functions are great. If you're road tripping, like I said, great car. Not so great, the Bang & Olufsen sound system. It's only okay. Like if you were spending lots of money, go for the mid options. The B&O probably isn't worth it. The regular sound system is also not massively better. I think the Alpine system in the Uconnect cars are better, and I think even Chevy's Bose systems are better. But this is okay. I just wouldn't pay extra for the B&O. You need to tune it a lot. And I like cars that have a much better, clearer, natural sound. It's a little muddier. Other than that, what do people complain about? Well, if you're really chucking it around, the car can sometimes feel like a little high-sided, like a little stiff, like it just goes up and you're like, whoa, 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 why is it getting so elevated? And that's because it's running out of mechanical grip. So the higher you go up and you chuck it in, suddenly you're reminded that this is a massively heavy truck with a lot of power. So the best thing you can do is just drive it sensibly. Drive it like this. Or you could just put it down and listen to that EcoBoost pull you through. Oof, it's addictive, man. It is addictive. Then again, I ran straight into a sand dune. Oof. Right. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I think if I was the Land Cruiser or the Patrol, I'd be pretty worried, because this car is really good. It's got all the gadgets, it's got all the toys. It feels pretty well put together. And it feels like it's got a ton of power without using a ton of gas. And it's got a great automatic. And it's got space for 7. And I feel like I'm working for Ford now. And that's crazy, because the old one was so bad. Let me tell you the story. I got the old Expedition and actually sent it back because it was so terrible. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't see anything nice about this car. I wanted to review it and I felt I was doing them a kindness. But with this car, there's no need for that kind of mercy. It's actually really good. And I think the Expedition deserves to do well in this market. Not that the Patrol Land Cruiser are not bad cars. They're not. If you've got one, you should be happy. But time marches on. And this car feels like it is finally a superior match to those cars. If you buy them, it's because you value the Japanese engineering, reliability and all of that. And of course with this car, time will tell. But as far as I'm concerned, you'd be a mug to not consider it if you had in the market for a 7-seater. Of course, with all these toys, it becomes really expensive. At 293,000 dirhams, that's a lot for a Ford. Maybe you're looking at a base Navigator. But the new Navigator would be even more expensive. That'll be closer to 400,000. So it's hard to justify. What I will say is this, I like it a lot. And on that bombshell, I shall leave you. Thanks for watching. It's Motoring Middle East. I'm Imthishan. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.